Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day to Single Life Season 5 Episode 11, The Art of Dragging. So we're just going to get into it. First of all, thank you so much for people who watched me on Kiki and Kibit's channel yesterday to talk B90. Had a good time. Thank you guys who watched that for your love and support. First couple or people I want to talk is Vanya and Tony. So remember what happened last week. Vanya and Tony went to that dance class and they started dancing, and then he didn't want to dance no more. So she decided to dance with another random guy out of spite, and then that irritated him. And he cut in, and then that irritated her. So then this episode, they're continuing on with the conversation about it, and she's just like, "What the heck? You didn't want to dance, and I'm a dancer. You're gonna do this, and that." Tony thinks that Vanya is just using that like for a reason, basically to cheat. He feels that he low key wants her to. Vanya does like that kind of dancing, like belly dancing stuff, as her profession and everything. He is kind of telling her not to do that, and not doesn't want her to do that anymore. And everybody's just like, well, who the heck are you to tell me that, basically? Now she's supposed to be going on this trip to Ibiza or whatever and everything, and he's worried that she's gonna be dancing with other men there and everything and all that. Vanya's just like screaming at him and yelling at him and just like stormed off and just decided to take an Uber home and everything. And she told him, she's like, "What do you want me to do while I'm over there, stay in my hotel?" And he was like, "You could go and enjoy it and everything, but see what happens when you get back home." And when he said that, I was like, "Oh heck no." See what happens. She's like, "Oh, okay, so you're gonna be threatening me. You're threatening me now. So that's how we're doing it. You're threatening me now. No, we ain't doing that." So yeah, she storms out, gets an Uber. A few days later, he comes over to her house, and they kind of made amends. They both apologized for their behaviors. I didn't really care, didn't really get it. Like this whole relationship is just, throughout the whole season, we've been saying Vanya needs to chill out, and she does and everything. But now I'm questioning Tony. Tony does seem like a person that low key is. He sounds really controlling, and he could be very manipulative and stuff in a relationship. And I just really don't see this working out. I think that for his profession, he should hold like a little bit would understand these situations a little bit more, because I guess he's a doctor. He should be. I don't know. I just have a different perceived condition of him, but I just don't see this relationship working out, because they are just two different people. Vanya, it's like this. Vanya is more of an extrovert, and Tony's more of an introvert, and normally that's fine, but just how this all is, it's just not for them. It's just not meshing well, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll see how Vanya's little trip to Ibiza, whatever you call it, goes and everything. And judging by the previews, I feel like Tony's just gonna be blowing her up and not gonna let her have a good time. So that is a very dangerous situation, in my opinion. So yeah, that was Vanya and Tony. Next person I want to talk is Courtney and Colt. So last week on Between the Sheets, they revealed that Colt actually, when he left when Mother Debbie came to pick him up in Orlando after Courtney kicked him out, he was supposed to go back to Canada with Debbie and Tony. Well, apparently he didn't. He went to Brazil to be with Diane. So, Courtney said it's been a month since all of that stuff has transpired. She's out grocery shopping with her parents, and she tells her parents that Colt has reached out to her and saying that he loves her and he misses her and he's coming back. And they were like, "He ain't coming back to our house, ain't he?" She's like, "No." But apparently Colt like has to have a little bit more surgery on his broken foot, broken knee, or whatever. And there's this place in Orlando, this hospital in Orlando that will take his insurance, basically. So he's coming back, and Courtney's going to help him get situated in the hotel and everything. And I think that that's nice of Courtney to do. you know, like I think it's kind of producer based too a little bit, because I think that since like you got to carry the storyline from Hunt for Love when he fell in the room, and she really I don't think she really just wants to take care of him. She's taking care, she has taken care of him so much since that incident when they were on Hunt for Love and everything, and she just wants to continue on with that and continue on with the storyline and everything. Now we all know Colt is using her and everything because it ain't gonna work out. It's not working out with Diana down there, so now he's coming back to Courtney and stuff. And so yeah, you know, people are going to be attacking Courtney, saying, "Oh, just let him go, let him go. Don't help him. He don't deserve it." You know, when it comes to someone's health and injuries and stuff, whether you like that person or not, you should do the right. If you're their only option, you should do the right thing. You don't. I'm not saying she needs to sleep with them or get back with them, but if she wants to help them, we can't attack her for that. And yeah, so I mean that's just my opinion. We cannot attack Courtney for wanting to help Colt. Now she'll do it with precaution and everything. She should just lay down the law, be like, look, I'll help you and stuff and everything, but don't think of it as this time. Don't think of it as us getting back together or anything, because we're not doing that. We're not going to get back together, but I'll help you and stuff. You did me dirty and stuff and everything, so don't even try it. So I hope she just follows through with that. So yeah, that was Courtney and Colt. Now, next week on Between the Sheets, it's going to be revealed that Diana didn't want Colt there too. So that's why he decided to come back to America. So I can't wait to talk about that. Man, gee, no surprise there. So yeah, that was Courtney and Colt. Next couple next person I want to talk is Kimberly. So Kimberly it's almost Christmas time, and she is preparing to go, getting ready to go to the UK to visit this guy. I think his name is Wayne and stuff. Um, she's preparing for a trip there and stuff, and she wants Jamal to go with her and stuff. So in this episode, they're preparing for Christmas, and Kim and Jamal video chatted with the adopted son Larry and everything, and she showed Larry around the house and how they decorate for Christmas and everything. And you know, Larry asked her, are you gonna get me a stocking? And she's like, of course, and everything. And so then him and Jamal had a little talk and a little walk around, and then Kimberly gave us an update on the adoption process with the daughter. So apparently, Kimberly had reached out to the adoption agency, and they got back to her, and they did somewhat find her. Um, I guess Kimberly's daughter adopted parent and mother had wrote a letter like back in 1993, 93 and 94, talking about how she is and everything, and how healthy she is, and all that stuff. And Kimberly got that letter, and said, dear R, and they named her R. Just letting you know the baby's in good health and everything. She loves Italian food. This and that. Kimberly couldn't read the rest of the letter because she got emotional and stuff and everything. And you know, throughout the season, we've all said this, is that this storyline, it's just an up and down story, a spiral storyline with Kimberly, because one minute we're talking about the adoption agency, next minute we're talking about a guy and stuff, a different guy and everything. So like what are we sticking with? So now we're combining it right now. We're talking about the adoption agency, but now we're also at the same time we're going to be going over to the UK to meet this new guy and stuff and everything. Now, Kimberly also had a conversation with Jamal and Larry about her upcoming trip to the UK and stuff and everything. And she told Jamal, like, you know, Jamal was like, I kind of regret not going with you to Nigeria the first time to meet Usman and stuff and everything. But Jamal told her best, like, do not give so soon. You know, just because you have a good conversation and good first day doesn't mean you're madly in love like you did before and stuff and everything. Find out what he's all about and everything, and then go from there. And she asked, do you want to come with? And he was like, no, but if you really want me to, I'll do it. So yeah, and judging by the previews of next week, it looks like she does go to the UK and stuff to meet this new guy. Now, last week, you know, I hope she gets over the height thing. You know, I hope we can put that put that conversation to rest when she meets him and stuff and everything, because she's gonna ask him, "Are you dating over here?" I'm like, he probably is, but if you're coming all the way from America to see him, then he should be taking a step back. Just saying. So yeah, that was Kimberly. And the last couple we got to talk is Gino and Natalie. Oh my goodness. So last week we met Natalie's daughter Bella, and she was disrespectful to Gino right from the get go. She talking about, you better close the door. Yeah, I'm surprised to see you now. I don't like you. This and that and everything. Now I'm gonna be saying a lot of unpopular opinions about this situation, so just bear with me. I'll get to that in a minute. But in this episode, we seen Gina and Natalie meet up with Natalie's twin brother. I think his name was Nick and everything. And they're getting ready to, they're all supposed to go out. And they decide to all go out to this like drag show or whatever and everything. I'm not a fan of the drag thing, drag shows and stuff. You know, I'm not against anybody who is or anything, but just not my cup of tea. But I guess the daughter Bella was supposed to come, and she basically ghosted it. Natalie tried to call her saying, "Hey, are you coming?" And then Natalie's brother tried texting her and said, like, "Are you coming?" and everything, and nothing. Now the brother told Gino, he's like, "You know what? Like, I was really surprised that Natalie got back with Gino after what happened in Michigan and everything. He's gonna have to do a lot to win everybody over, basically." And I agree and stuff. So they go to the drag race. I'm not drag race, the drag show. And they had a good time, and Gina's like all up and they had Gino like all up in there and stuff and everything. He was enjoying it a lot and everything. Like, so on between the sheets, they were like, he looked like he was enjoying the drag show more than he did the lap dance and the strippers and stuff and everything. Because and also in between the sheets, Jasmine revealed that back when they were intimate in the early days, that he liked to play dress up and put on her underwear and stuff and everything. And of course, Gina is going to deny it, but this time I actually do agree with. I think Gina's lying on this one, because and the only reason why I believe Jasmine this time is because remember what happened at the Happily Ever After Tell-All when Jasmine left, and then he saw like her underwear and stuff and everything. He put it on his hat and everything, and started goofing off and everything. So yeah, he lied and saying that he never wore her stuff when he did. He did. I believe Jasmine when she says that. So after the show was over, they were having a conversation, the brother, Natalie, and Gino, and I guess Natalie's daughter reached out, did text back the brother, then text back the mom, text back the brother, and said that she's not coming. I don't want Gino. I don't want nothing to do with this anymore. So obviously that's upsetting. So the next evening, Natalie and Gina are having a conversation, and Natalie finally decides to call her daughter Bella. She calls Bella, she answers, and Bella just sent a rude message. She was like, "I can't sit back and watch you destroy your life for a spineless loser and troll like Gino and everything. You're a grown woman, you can do what you want, but don't expect my support and everything." And she had it on speaker. Gino kept quiet. He said that he was just not going to start a fight or anything and stuff and everything. And Natalie was just like, wow. And Isabella had hung up on her and stuff and everything. Now this is where unpopular opinions come into play. Everybody online is saying, yeah, go Bella. Yeah, Gina's this and that. You're right. You're not lying. This and all that. Here's my take on it. Yes, that Michigan, she is still like freaked out over that Michigan incident, and rightly so. I think that Michigan incident should have been handled a lot better. Now, here's the thing with that incident. Gino didn't start that. Now, he wanted Natalie to meet the family right then and there and everything. And then the last word gets that Jasmine's coming and everything. not expecting Jasmine to come in and just start calling her names and then pushing her and stuff and everything. Natalie did say at the beginning of the season, and she should have just not went there, especially when, because Gino did tell Natalie that Jasmine was going to be there. When he told her that, and this was back on Happily Ever After, she should have been like, "No, I'm not meeting your family and Jasmine like this at the same time. This is going to be bad." So again, not blaming Natalie or anything, but after thinking about it, she should have just not went and stuff and everything, because yeah, that was just a recipe for disaster with that. Now, on Between the Sheets, Gino said that, and I saw the video that him and Natalie watched that scene so many times, watched it back, and he was like, I wish Natalie would have told Bella that he did defend her. He did step in to guard Natalie after the push and stuff. He did say to Jasmine, "Hey, don't touch her," and everything and stuff and everything, but Natalie's not seeing that and stuff and everything. So my thing is that I'm kind of side eyeing Natalie a little bit, because last week, I guess when they came up to California, she was supposed to be there for her daughter's graduation and stuff from cosmetology school, but then said that it was like ruined by Gino. Well, that wasn't ruined by Gino. Gino didn't know. It was ruined by your mother, and you should be checking your mother. You don't have to be rude to Gina. You should be checking your mother with that. Natalie had said that her daughter has never seen her in good relationships. Natalie, I guess, has a toxic pattern, just like a lot of people, and has never really been with good men. And they think that Gina is going to be just the same and stuff. She has not. She said that Gina hasn't done anything to make her feel comfortable or warm and everything. I disagree with that. I do think Gina really likes Natalie. Gina is just really and they're bringing up that he's still legally married. I get that too, but Gina is just caught between a rock and a hard place. He's going through a divorce. He's still traumatized from his marriage and stuff and everything, And I what I feel with Gina is that he feels like he's walking on eggshells with anybody he meets, because he's just fearing for judgment. And he'll do some like questionable decisions because he's just so scared and stuff. I've been through. I know how Gina's going through. I've been through that before and everything. So now everybody's just looking bad on him and everything. Now, I think that I do agree with Gina when I feel like Natalie should explain to the daughter that he did try to defend me. Maybe it wasn't edited the right way or perceived the right way. It's just all chaotic in that moment. But he did try and stuff and everything. Now, after that conversation that she had on the phone with the daughter, Gina asked her, like, "Are you going to stay with me, or are you going to go back to visit her?" And she said, "I'm just going to go back to her place and try to talk to her." On Between the Sheets, Natalie got mad and said that, "Why would Gina ask me that?" and everything. She's mad at Gina for asking, "Are you staying, or are you going back?" Oh my God, just nitpicking everything. So, but Natalie did say she went back. She did go to her daughter's apartment. They didn't talk at all that night and everything. But then they talked. Then they talked the next day, and she said, "Yeah, like he's not doing anything to make it any better." And Natalie's thinking, "You know what? I dodged a bullet the first time. I'm dodging more of a bullet this time." So my thing is that Natalie keeps thinking. I just feel like Natalie is looking for a reason not to be with Gino. Now, again, we all know Gino's weird and awkward and stuff and everything, but I don't know. And like I said, this is an unpopular opinion, but I do think like all of this is just so unfair to Gino. Like, he doesn't really deserve all of this and stuff. He ain't perfect and stuff and everything, but everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, another one, team Bella, another child, somebody's child being more smarter than their parents that are on the show and stuff and everything." No, but still, the disrespect is just, I just don't like the entitledness and the disrespectfulness, and that's just my opinion and stuff and everything. So I don't know, this situation I talk about a little bit more because I'm looking deep into it, and yeah, I do think Gino is not in the wrong in this right now and stuff and everything. I do think Natalie needs to speak up more and not be and yeah, and that's and don't get me wrong, that's Natalie's baby. Like, you know, her opinion matters. She comes first. 100% agree with that. That's Natalie's baby. When you're caught between the person you're interested with and then your child's approval, because Natalie did say she wants the blessing and stuff and everything, and Gina's like, what's gonna happen if she doesn't? And she's just said, like, you know, I think you already know. So, yeah, I do think Natalie is trying to find a reason not to be with Gino, even though she is attracted to him and stuff and everything. But I just don't think this is fair on Gino, in my opinion. So that's just me. So yeah. Anyway, but that was basically it for the episode. We had a full blown break from the Dominican Republic crew. We did not see Sophie, Pedro, Julia, Liz in this episode. I'm glad we had a nice break from all of them. So yeah, and we didn't see, of course, we didn't see Colt. We seen Courtney, but we didn't see Colt. So yeah, that was basically it, guys. Yeah, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be back on to do the B90 tell-all on Sunday, Monday. So be ready to go for that. And we rolling. So love you guys. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.